There's a very strange show on Apple TV called Severance. Have you seen this? Have you heard about it? Because as you watch this video, we are on the precipice of a reality that's been carefully manufactured, programmed, and placed into our subconscious minds. Some would say ritualistically, presenting itself under the guise of entertainment. The show Severance isn't just a psychological thriller. In my opinion, it's a warning, a blueprint, a sigil-infused prophecy, so to speak, of what the globalist technocratic elite have planned for us. What if the show Severance isn't science fiction? What if it actually could come true? We're going to explore this idea today, because some say that this show is not science fiction. This is predictive programming in its purest form. For those who don't know, predictive programming is the elite's method of conditioning the masses. Hollywood, big tech, and the ruling class elites use predictive programming to mirror their actual agenda. So when it finally manifests in reality, the public is desensitized, and they're thinking, oh, this is just like that TV show I saw. By doing this, they bypass our natural resistance to tyranny and accelerate the control of our lives. Have you ever heard somebody say, oh, it's just like a movie? I felt like I was watching a movie while they were in a very intense situation. This is a very common thing. In fact, when 9/11 happened, I remember everybody in my classroom at the time kept saying, it's like we're watching a movie. It's like a movie. Is this actually happening? Because it feels like we're in a movie. I know what you're thinking. What does predictive programming and sigil magic have to do with the show Severance in a corporate dystopian media drama? Well, let me explain. Sigil magic is an occult practice where symbols, images, and even entire narratives are imbued with intention. Some people believe that television shows and films are used to cast their spells, implanting ideas into the collective unconscious that will be made manifest sometime in the future. And the show Severance is no exception to this, in my opinion. Now, what do we see in Severance? It's a world where people willingly give up the control of their own minds, allowing a corporate entity to decide who they are, when they think, and what reality they accept. Except in the show, this goes horribly wrong because humanity is not meant to fracture their mind like this. So they push back against it, sometimes without even realizing what's happening. This isn't some fictional dystopia. I believe it's a ritualized initiation into a post-human age. Let's break down some real-life parallels between Severance and the world unfolding before us. Because, my friends, what if this isn't just a television show? It's a confession from the technocratic overlords about what's coming next. The show surrounds a corporation named Lumen Industries, where employees are forcibly split into quote-unquote innies and outies. Innie meaning when they arrive at work, a part of their brain turns off. The innie is activated inside the workspace, and the outie, meaning outside the workspace, is turned off. So the reality of the innie, the ones that's working, and the reality of the outie, the one that's not working, are completely separated from each other, where they don't even know the details of the other part of their own life. Meaning, when they go to work, their brain switches to the innie part because they're inside work, and they have no idea about their outie life. And then when they leave work, the computer chip inside their brain switches off, and they have no idea what they did that whole day. So to the outie's perspective, they arrive at work, get in the elevator, and then without any time passing, they worked a full day and they had no idea what happened. You see, a reality like this is far more sinister than anybody realizes. It's one where artificial intelligence, brain-computer interfaces, and maybe even the possibility of humanoid robots take full control over the human race. Now, this is no longer speculation, everybody, what we're talking about here. This technology does exist. It's just right now in its primitive form, and as we all know, technology doubles every year, which is called Moore's Law. And if you listen to what Elon Musk and others are saying, by the end of this year, Neuralink, humanoid robots, and an AI control system will be fully implemented into the public. These things aren't just technological advances, in my opinion. They are the foundation of a new global system, one where human consciousness is fractured, controlled, and ultimately made obsolete. You see, we will be slaves, letting the AI implement their will on us. the show Severance may become a reality. You see, in Severance, workers at Lumen voluntarily undergo a surgical procedure that splits their consciousness like we talked about. But let's break it down just a little bit more. As we talked about before, the innie who only exists at work and the outie who only exists out of work. This idea is not fantasy. In fact, to those who have the eyes to see, a version of it is happening right now under the guise of Neuralink. Elon Musk already announced that Neuralink's first human brain chip was successful, and now I believe they're on the second or the third one, being implemented as a guise to help people with disabilities and enhance human cognition. But let's be real here, folks. Once this technology is fully flushed out, what's stopping corporations from using the technology to control employees, just like Lumen Industries does? Imagine a real-world scenario in which the Severance chip, aka Neuralink or something to that effect, doesn't just separate work life from personal life, but it allows employers, governments, and the AI overlord to monitor, manipulate, and even reprogram a person's very thoughts. They will sell it as a quote-unquote productivity booster, and they'll tell workers it's just a way to reduce stress and increase focus, and be more productive, and make our company more money. But what they are doing is removing our humanity and removing our ability to resist. Severance is about corporate control, but let's take it a step further. Because Elon Musk himself predicted that humanoid robots will outnumber humans by 2040. And if you don't believe this, I suggest that you look into it, because as we speak in the beginning of 2025, these humanoid robots are being pushed out en masse by Tesla, by Amazon, rumor has it by Apple, by all the big tech companies in America. Even Mark Zuckerberg is talking about creating humanoid robots. And that's not even taking into account China, who are trying to mass produce these things as we speak. This is all happening within our lifetime. Tesla's Optimus robots are already being designed to replace human workers. In Severance, workers like Mark, Dylan, and Helly performed mindless, repetitive tasks while their corporate overlords stripped them of free will. Let's connect some of these dots, guys. First, they introduced brain chips like Neuralink to help people, just like Lumen's Severance procedure was sold as a way to improve the work-life balance. Then, AI becomes a decision maker, monitoring, assessing, and ultimately controlling the workforce. Finally, corporations and governments implement full-scale mind control, turning workers into literal drones who only exist to serve the machine. In my opinion, this is not a theory, because the pieces are already falling into place. Look at the way that big tech companies are tracking employees and using AI to quote-unquote optimize human labor. This is happening already. Just imagine what will happen 10, 15, 20 years down the road when these technologies become implemented into our everyday lives. It seems that the transition between Severance's corporate hellscape and a real-world AI dictatorship is already underway. In the show, at Lumen Industries, employees don't own their own minds. They don't even remember what happens outside of work. What happens when corporations own the data in your brain? What happens when AI decides that you cannot think a certain way? There's no question that we are heading into a future where humanity is subjugated at the will of AI. You see, Severance gives us a glimpse into this future. The workers at Lumen aren't even aware that they're slaves, and if we aren't careful, neither will we. So the question is, where do we go from here? Our only option is to pray. Because the way things are going, we won't even realize we lost until it's too late. We are the frog in the pot of boiling water. The water is heating up as we speak. Once it starts boiling, we won't even realize that it's over. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Please put your comments below. I want to know what you think about this. And until next time, God bless you all.